Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today, guys, we're going to be jumping down into the world of Bitcoin, taking a look at what's been going on most recently, what we expect to happen next, and all that wonderful stuff. As we get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe? Tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Now, if you have not yet joined us in Discord, the link is in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there, so why not go ahead and check that out today. And if you haven't yet kind of checked out the Patreon services, the different things that we have to offer there, and you're looking for a little bit more from the crypto space, link is in the description down below. Okay, guys, let's get right on into this. I'll also leave below, by the way, a link to this morning's live stream, the live stream on Bitcoin and Ethereum, if that is of interest to you. We go into a lot more detail there. So here we have Bitcoin paired up with USDT on the hourly chart. Binance is the data source. Now, following on from where we were yesterday, we're talking about this yellow box area just down here. We actually hit our target. Okay, we came down here, we wicked into this yellow box, and just a little bit lower than the 19,244. As you can see right in here, we actually came down to the low of 19,237. Okay, so we technically have met our minimum expectations with our wave 3 down. Oh, sorry, our bigger wave 3. That's our kind of like a minimum expectation range. That's kind of what we're looking for. Now, what I was speaking about this morning was the potential that maybe we haven't finished this move to the downside. Maybe we have to revisit this little yellow box one more time under an ending diagonal structure. Now, as I can see here, we can now say that's not what's going to happen, okay? So we can remove that. And the reasoning behind this is simply that we were looking at the structure here. It didn't really look like it was 5 waves. So we come down here, maybe 1, 2 here. Where is wave 4 and where is wave 5, right? We have this straight drop here, but we don't have a clear 3 and 4 kind of to map in. Okay, we have overlap potentially here, here, and here. And so it's possible that is the case, and that is what's happened, and basically it still is an ending diagonal, and we've just wicked into that range. Either way, though, we can now pin that in and say that is done, because the recent move here has gone up higher than this point, and that's a good indication that maybe things have finished off with this move. Now, it doesn't mean that we're not moving down. We've still got lower ranges to go to, and this is currently sat as a wave 4 structure. So I'm going to move our wave 3 just up to this point, and we are moving up. Now, this move to the upside should be 3 waves. Okay, that would be our expectation on a wave 4. And then we come down and we come down into our lower expectations. So let's talk about what this might look like. So at the moment, we've got these wicks coming up here, and you can see this consolidation. So let's first of all map in our areas of supply, right? Where is the supply really coming in? And this is something that is subjective depending on how you want to do it. I'm going to draw this one in here. This is the first one I can see with our area of kind of supply being brought in. And we also have, and I'm going to put this down quite deep actually, because I do think there's a lot to be had right inside this little gap here. Okay, and if I pull this across, we can see for many different reasons why. And we could actually come down a little bit deeper if we wanted to, but I was really focusing in on here, this particular open and close-itions, for example. So we can find that we're finding that we're battling in this little area here. This is basically resistance, also known as a supply zone, as in there's a lot of people supplying Bitcoin or willing to sell Bitcoin up here, okay? And that's obviously why we're seeing these wicks, right? We're pushing up, the buying pressure is there, but it's being met by the supply and then getting hammered back down. Now, why is this important? This is important because when we start grabbing our fibs and we start running this on here, we can actually start to move our Fibonacci retracement tools over to our area here. We can see that we've met our minimum expectations on 3 waves, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so we've come up a little bit higher than the 19,535, that being our 1-to-1. Now that there would be a nice area to think about maybe calling this a wave 4. Okay, and we start to progress to the downside. Okay, so we start to see a lot more pressure mounting for downward moves, right? So if I grab the fibs and I run that from our low that we achieved down here in our 5th wave low point, and we move this to our kind of 4th wave high, then we can actually start to talk about coming down into another typical range. Now, I want to kind of just move this one over here for a second. Okay, I don't want to create an overlap with these, but I do want to kind of create an overlap at the bottom, and I'm going to draw this in just into here. Okay, so this is basically 19,041 through to the higher range of 19,162. Okay, that's the expected range. And you see this little slither of overlap here. And let me just remove the fibs and make that a little bit clearer. That's not the right button. Let me cancel out there. And I just want to click here and delete that. There we go. Okay, so right in here, this little slither, this also is our previous area of demand. Okay, this is the area that demand has been in. So when we start thinking about, okay, we've come down, we've got 1, 2, 3, this is 4, this is moving down into 5. We finish this area, we hit back into this area of support, or this area where the demand is, and then we're going to move up. So my expectations are smooth move down here, bounce upwards. Okay, now when we start lowering in our order blocks, we can see the order blocks are a little bit lower. So we'll be watching out for a 5-wave drop here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now it's possible that that overextends and just grabs that liquidity down at the bottom there. I wouldn't be surprised if something like that did happen because that order block is there. Okay, if it moves, then that might not happen. We'll just keep a close eye on it, but I would expect 5 waves to the downside. Now, it's also possible that we can continue to push up this a little bit more on the 4th wave here. There's no guarantees that's completely done. Yeah, at the point of recording this video, it still looks a little bit of green, but this seems to be the obvious area where the resistances are. I don't expect much more to the upside. I am expecting some kind of drop to the downside. Now, the higher that wave 4 goes, the lower that wave 5 will go. Invalidation is set up there at 19,730. So if we were to come up to that dash line, it will prevent us moving down under that structure. Okay, it just basically means this is a maybe 335 drop, for example, right? Something to that effect, which is also very possible because up here we do see a very clear 3 waves and not so clear on the 5-wave drop. Okay, so we'll keep a close eye on that. But for the most part, that's kind of where the liquidity blocks are. They're sat here, and obviously selling ones are all the way up there. So there's a lot of progression to the upside if we wanted to see anyone kind of offload their Bitcoin. Okay, so we're seeing little pockets like this, but nothing major. As I go ahead and remove those and throw on our liquidity, you can see there's some liquidity right up there on this previous swing high. That might be juicy. You might see a wick just come up here, hit that area of supply, and then drop all the way down. The liquidity to the downside, there isn't terribly too much, but there isn't too much to the upside either. The markets are incredibly slow over the weekends, so you're seeing there's a little bit of liquidity that might just get wiped out on the way down here. So if you're in profit, think about those things. I'm obviously not a financial advisor. I can't give you financial advice, but my next move would be down, in my opinion, looking at the data, and the data would then suggest that all of those people who are going long on the market here are going to get liquidated. Okay, whereas on the upside, there are actually a lot of people who are shorting the market. There isn't too much. This is an interesting zone we might move up to. Okay, so 19,626, that could be an interesting grab before reversing. So just keep an eye on that, right? There's not actually anything else really major going on here. We've kind of already cleared out everything in this area. So for the most part, the liquidity has gone. People have been liquidated. And obviously the next direction is down. After this completes, I'm looking for 3 waves up. And of course, we'll talk about where all that extra liquidity might sit closer to the time. But for now, that's kind of where Bitcoin sits on the price action. Let's go ahead and see if our stochastic RSI aligns. So the momentum indicator is indicating that we are overbought. So again, indicating that we are on this higher range, and essentially we are going to be expecting a shift to the downside. So some kind of move down is highly likely. We're going to come to the oversold area. That's on the 1 hour. The 4 hour is actually primed, ready for a move to the upside. So I think after we complete this wave 5, up is the direction that we're going to go, and it's going to be pretty good. The 8 hour supports that. The daily obviously still needs to come down, but so does the weekly. So again, we're not talking big moves. Long term, we're talking kind of next week, maybe early the week, we'll see some kind of move to the upside under 3 waves and then another 5 waves down. If we do complete 5 waves coming here, obviously 5 waves don't appear on their own. So I would expect kind of, a 3 wave structured move upwards. That gets us back to overbought on the 8 and the 4 hour charts, for example, with the daily moving up to the overbought again. And then from here, really just coming back down and coming down pretty hard. Okay, so that's kind of my expectations. Of course, this is just a zigzag, and this could be a lot more sinister. And that would look like we would come down into a new lower low, for example, and it would be something like that, right? And again, that would actually then be setting us up for a trend to the downside significantly. So just bear in mind, where we are, what's going on. There's a few different things, but we're starting with 5 waves. If we complete all 5 here, this is going to be setting us up with either a zigzag pattern or an impulsive 5 wave pattern, okay? And those are the two things that are available to us under a 5-wave structure starting from here. So we'll keep a close eye on it, but guys, I'm going to leave the video there. If you have found this useful and informative, hit the like button. I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then do go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done, and out of the way, hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.